Now from the Weather Tracker TV Storm Studios, this is your weather today. Here's Chief Meteorologist William Cole.
All right, folks, here we go on a bitterly cold Tuesday morning. I mean, what's new? The last couple of days, that's kind of been the theme, right? Bitterly cold. In fact, this morning we came very close to tying a record low again. Of course, yesterday morning we did tie a 119-year-old record, which, by the way, was 11, and the record this morning was also 11, but again, we've been down to 12 so far officially at DFW. Other locations around North Texas, I'll show you, were well down into the single digits. So it's going to be cold today. We get back above freezing tomorrow. We've got one more hit of cold weather on the way before we get into the weekend, and then I'm tracking what appears to be maybe a significant rain event as we get into next week. So we've got a lot going on, a lot of details coming up here. But first of all, as we take a look at your Tuesday, again, the one thing you're going to like, again, especially for the folks heading back to work today, most of the kiddos out of school, but for mom and dad at work, you're maybe looking out your office window. You're going to see a lot of bright sunshine as we go through the day. Still a brisk northerly wind chill factors throughout the day. And again, we'll only climb into the mid to mid upper 20s, again, locally in the Metroplex. So these were those morning lows I was talking about. I mean, look up along the Red River Valley. I mean, we've got Bowie down to +7. You can even see our friends over in Sherman down to +9. So again, just bitterly cold, brutally cold, again, whatever you want to call it. Simply put, those were the temperatures again out the door earlier this morning. And again, even around the Metroplex here, most locations, 11, 12, 13, those were some pretty common numbers. Lake Worth over on the Fort Worth side of town, they were down to +9 again earlier this morning. So the good news is no precipitation. We're not dealing with any more wintry precipitation with this system. Like I mentioned, we've got bright sunshine. There's going to be quite a bit of wintry weather though today up across parts of the mid-Atlantic heading into the northeast. Again, major snowstorm there. Again, obviously that's heading away from us. No concern for us here whatsoever unless you're traveling in that direction. But as we look out here to the west, in fact, we're looking all the way out to the Pacific Ocean. It's almost hard to define here, but we do have another upper level storm system. This is going to be coming out as we get into Thursday into Friday. It's going to give us one more shot, but this time it's going to be modified Arctic air. It's not going to be quite as cold as what we saw now. We are going to chill back down. And the other piece of that area of low pressure, it's going to cause quite a bit of wind. So we're going to have another really windy cold front come through, colder temperatures, wind chill factors back in effect. But then by late weekend, we really moderate the temperatures. And then, like I mentioned, we may be talking about several days of just rain as we go through next week. But again, still looking around the nation, most locations are continuing to deal with this Arctic air intrusion. We have it bad, but again, look off to our north. And again, we've been mentioning this all week. There's several locations now, even across parts of Nebraska, that are in the negative teens to almost negative 20s. And again, those are air temperatures, right? We're not talking about wind chill factors. So there goes the troughing pattern that brought all the cold air in. It's basically pulling away. And again, like I mentioned, we've got one more shot. There it is again as we get into early parts of the weekend of some chillier air building in. But then we have more of a ridging pattern that typically is more of a milder pattern. That sounds good. And then we've got some impulses coming in within the flow. So like I mentioned, a little bit milder and the opportunity of some rain. This is still looking a ways on down the road. Don't want to get too excited about this yet, but maybe beginning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, the opportunity of some rain. Could see some pretty good rainfall totals there as well. But again, as we back up in time, talk about today, tonight, even tomorrow, again, simply put, so what you see is what you get. Overnight tonight, we will have clear skies. We had some cloud cover last night, which helped to hold the temperatures up at least by a few degrees. But again, tonight, radiational cooling will be in effect. So one more really bitterly cold night, again, to start our Wednesday. So 20s today. We stay below freezing. Wind chill factors remain in effect. Look at that. Even out the door tomorrow morning, wind chill factor of only right around +6. Again, this would be your Tuesday evening. If you've got cabin fever, trying to get out and maybe do something this evening. Temperatures still only in the mid-20s with wind chill factors. And then we're basically back down into the teens tonight. One more brutally cold night. Continue to drip those faucets. And there it is. Tomorrow, 40s, maybe even a couple 50s out to the west. As promised, we finally get above freezing again as we go through our Wednesday. So once we get above freezing, again, like I mentioned, we've got a lot of bright sunshine coming in. We do chill back down. Again, you can see for the early part of the weekend. And then look at that next week. Yes, we are talking about several days of rain.